Well, the title of the song that the movie's named after is actually just Bless the Broken Road, but we gotta get God in there because it's... God Bless the Broken Road comes to us from Harold Kronk, who previously directed the first two God's Not Dead movies. It's about a woman whose husband is killed in the war in Afghanistan, and she starts to lose her faith in God while trying to raise her daughter by herself. But she just might start to come back to the faith when she meets this race car driver. The trailers for this movie came out 2 years ago when it was scheduled for a February 2017 release. It was pushed back a year and a half for reasons unknown to me. What's a bit awkward about the choice of moving it back to this point in time is the fact that there's another movie from Harold Kronk coming out this coming weekend. Regardless, this movie isn't worth any kind of weight because this is yet another movie from Christian filmmakers who think that doing the bare minimum will win us over every time. This is an incessantly weepy movie with generic conflicts and resolutions that are all there to deliver the simple message of have faith and things will get better. The purpose of every character isn't to make you feel for them, but only to say things that will make its audience nod. I started to feel for the widowed mother once. It was when it got to the point where she's searching for every source of money she can find to pay off home mortgage and whatnot, and she's forced to use her wedding ring. But even that gets ruined when she brings her ring to the appraiser to find out how much it's worth. The appraiser reasonably asks if her husband might come in looking for it, to which she replies, "He died in Afghanistan, so I'd say the chances of him coming in looking for the ring are pretty low." Where did that come from? There was nothing to motivate her to make that kind of smart aleck response. This movie barely ever lets up on emotional manipulation. Occasionally it will try to throw in some humor, but whatever humor is there, it's all ancient and lowbrow. And in order to do so, it deviates from its plot to add single scenes of humor that hardly connect with anything. This is something that Fireproof did a few times as well. The humor is so badly placed that the first scene in this movie is the woman's husband in Afghanistan joking around with his fellow soldiers, and then it cuts to back home where she learns that he was killed. Wouldn't it have been better to start with 1 or 2 scenes of them together so that we feel for her more when the news is broken to her? Well, no, because then we couldn't include jokes about beef ribs. The one performance that I can stretch out my neck and say is decent comes from Andrew W. Walker as the race car driver. Everyone else is merely passable at best, with the worst, as much as I hate being hard on child actors, Mackenzie Moss, who plays the exact same trying so hard to be cute kid that she played in Do You Believe? One actress I would really like to see get roles in better movies is Madeline Carroll. You may know her as a child star from movies like Swing Vote, Spy Next Door, and Flipped. She was very good earlier this year, and I Can Only Imagine, and she also has a wonderful testimony, links in the description. She only has a small part in God Bless the Broken Road, but she deserves far better material. On a technical level, this movie isn't quite as inexcusably bad as last year's A Question of Faith, but it's still bad. The cinematography and lighting are bland, and for whatever reason, when there's sunlight on an object in this movie, it makes the object look blurry. I have no idea why. There are 2 chaotic scenes, one being a stock car crash, and the other being a flashback scene to the battle in Afghanistan that takes the life of the woman's husband. Both are so quickly cut and shot so close that you're unable to absorb the disaster that's supposed to be taking place, and it makes the fact that these scenes were staged incredibly transparent. The song Bless the Broken Road, by the way, even though it plays once on the radio and someone sings it at the end, it has so little to do with the movie that I think the only intent with the title was to capitalize on a classic hit. They try to loosely tie it in at the end in the movie's only voiceover, but it's very last minute. The song actually fits a lot better with Disney Pixar's Cars, because if it wasn't for the literally broken road that Lightning McQueen had to fix, he wouldn't have met Sally. Okay, I did go off topic for the sake of making a joke right there, but hey, like I said, that's what this movie does. The soundtrack in general doesn't have any purpose. It's comprised only of popular Christian songs, such as Mercy Me's Greater playing during a race sequence, because it's a popular Christian song right now, so they can use it. When I sit through one of these movies after another, I can't help but think to myself, I cannot be the only Christian moviegoer who is tired of seeing the same boring, sappy movie that puts message ahead of the fundamental aspects of filmmaking. This movie may not be overly preachy, that is one thing that Christian movies are generally getting better about, but at the end of the day, the message is still as shallow as, don't lose faith in God. I can just go to church for that reminder. I don't need to sit through a 2-hour movie, especially when it's this poorly made and this lazily written. This much I know is true, that God Bless the Broken Road gets a 20%. That's a wrap. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this review helpful. Like if you liked, subscribe for more. This is Pop Culture. I'm Alex Pop.